fourth grade. I'm so glad that you're here. Happy Tuesday. We are going to read together today and talk a little bit about your daily assignments. So make sure that you can hear me. Make sure you can show exquisite listening. Remember, that means putting your eyes, your ears, your body, and your brain towards the screen. Okay, there's also going to be a secret code word at some point during the video. And if you send it to me, there's a surprise at group today. Okay, this is the book that we're going to read together this week. We're going to get very familiar with this book and learn how to really dig deep into some fiction. It's called The Name Jar. And the question I want you to think about is, how should we treat people who are different from us? That's our essential question this week. How should we treat people who are different from us? We're also going to pay close attention to the characters. We're going to pay close attention to the characters. What are we paying close attention to? The characters. When I'm reading fiction, I have to get my brain ready for a story. Everybody say story. Yeah, if you're at daycare, I hope you just scared some people by saying story, or maybe you scared your brother or sister or your mom or your dad. In a story, there's going to be characters, the who of the story. You might recognize some of these guys from some fiction books that we have at school or in the book fairs. There's also going to be a setting. That's the when and the where of the story. So is it morning? Is it daytime? What country does it take place in? Is it current day? Is it in the past? Are they at school? Are they at home? Stories are very different because of the setting and because of the characters. So we are going to read, we're going to think about how to treat people who are different than us, and we're going to pay attention to the characters and the setting. Okay, we're going to read the story, paying close attention to the characters and the setting. I would love for your eyes to be on the screen so that you can soak up all the details from the illustrations, and also you can watch the words while I read them. That helps your brain learn. Through the school bus window, Eunhae looked out at the strange buildings and houses on the way to her new school. It was her first day, and she was both nervous and excited. She fingered the little block of wood in her pocket and remembered leaving her grandmother at the airport in Korea. Her grandmother had wiped away Eunhae's tears and handed her an ink pad and a small red satin pouch. "Your name is inside," she had said. "My name?" Eunhae had wondered. Again, she took out the red pouch to look at the wooden block with her name carved in it. As she ran her fingers along the grooves and ridges of the Korean characters, she pictured her grandmother's smile. "Is that thing for show and tell?" a boy asked Eunhae, surprising her. Eunhae looked up as more kids leaned over. "No, it's mine," Eunhae answered, quickly putting the pouch back in her pocket. "Are you new here? What's your name?" a girl asked. "Eunhae," said Eunhae. "Eunhae?" the girl asked, scrunching up her face. "Ooh, ooh, Eunhae," some kids chanted. No, Eunhae corrected. It's spelled U-N-H-E-I. It's pronounced Yunhai. Yunhai. "Oh, it's you, hey," the boy said, like, "You, hey, what about hey, you?" Just then, the bus pulled out to the school and the doors opened. "Eunhae?" the girl asked, scrunching up her face. "Eunhae," the kids chanted. No, Eunhae corrected. It's spelled U-N-H-E-I. It's pronounced Eunhai. "Eunhae?" the girl asked, scrunching up her face. Eunhae, the kids chanted. No, Eunhae corrected. It's spelled U-N-H-E-I. It's pronounced Eunhai. No, give us a minute. You're still cool. It's pronounced Eunhae. "Oh, it's you, hey," the boy said. Like, "You, hey, what about hey, you?" Just then, the bus pulled up to the school and the doors opened. Eunhae hurried to get off. "You, hey, bye-bye," the kids yelled as she left. Eunhae felt herself blush. The secret word is blush. Eunhae stood at the doorway of her new and noisy classroom. She was relieved that the kids on the bus had gone to other rooms, but her face still felt red. "Aren't you going in?" asked a curly-haired boy with lots of dots on his face. "You're the new girl, right?" he asked cheerfully. Eunhae nodded, and before she could walk away, the boy took her hand and pulled her through the door. "Here's the new girl," he announced so loudly that the teacher, Mr. Kokotos, almost dropped his glasses. Mr. Kokotos thanked him and greeted Eunhae. Please welcome our newest student, he said to the class. She and her family just arrived from Korea last week. Eunhae smiled broadly and tried not to show her nervousness. What's your name? Someone shouted. Eunhae pictured the kids on the bus. I haven't picked one yet, she told the class, but I'll let you know by next week. As Mr. Kokokto showed her to her desk, she felt many round, curious eyes on her. Why doesn't she have a name? She heard someone whisper. Maybe she robbed a bank in Korea and needs a new identity, a boy replied. On the bus home, nobody teased her, but Eunhae kept thinking about her name. How was school, Eunhae? Her mother asked when she walked in. Did you understand the teacher? Eunhae simply nodded. She packed her school bag and set the red pouch by a photograph of her grandma. I'm glad you are learning English well, her mother said. You must study hard, behave nicely, and get good grades to show that you are a good Korean. I will, replied Eunhae, but I think I would like my own American name, she said quickly. Her mother looked at her with surprise. Why? Eunhae is a beautiful name. Your grandmother and I went to a name master for it. But it's so hard to pronounce, Eunhae complained. I don't want to be different from all the American kids. You are different, Eunhae, her mother said. That's a good thing. Eunhae just wrinkled her nose. Later that day, Eunhae and her mother went grocery shopping in their new neighborhood. They passed Fadil's Falafel, Tony's Pizza, and Dot's Deli. A big graffiti-painted garbage truck roared like a lion as it took off down the street. Nothing sounded or looked familiar until they got to Kim's Market. The sign was in both English and Korean. Her mother picked up cabbage to make kimchi, Korean-style spicy pickled cabbage, and other vegetables and meat. She also found some seaweed, Eunhae's favorite, for soup. It made Eunhae smile. Just because we've moved to America, her mother said, doesn't mean we stop eating Korean food. At the checkout counter, a friendly man smiled at Eunhae. Helping your mother with the shopping? He asked. Eunhae nodded. I'm Mr. Kim, he said, and what is your name? Eunhae, she answered. What a beautiful name, he said. Doesn't it mean grace? Eunhae nodded again. My mother and grandmother went to a name master for it, she told him. A graceful name for a graceful girl, Mr. Kim said as he put their groceries into bags. Welcome to the neighborhood, Eunhae. That evening, Eunhae stood in front of the bathroom mirror. Hi, my name is Amanda, she said cheerfully. Then she wrinkled her nose. Hi, my name is Laura. Maybe not. Her smile turned down. Nothing sounded right. Nothing felt right. I don't think American kids will like me, she worried as she began to brush her teeth. Hi, my name is Susie, she said to the mirror with her mouth full of toothpaste. The next morning, when Eunhae arrived at school, she found a glass jar on her desk with some pieces of paper in it. Eunhae took one out and read it aloud. Daisy. That's my baby sister's nickname, but she said you can use it if you want, said Cindy, who sat next to her. Eunhae took out the rest of the paper. Tamala, she read. I got it from a storybook, said Nate. She was smart and brave. Eunhae nodded and unfolded another piece. Wednesday? Yeah, you came here on a Wednesday, said Ralph. Thank you for your help. A smile spread over Eunhae's face. Ralph quickly said, we'll put more names in. You can pick whatever you like or pick them all, and you'll have the longest name in history. At 3 o'clock, the bell rang for the end of the school day. Eunhae looked out the window and saw it was sprinkling. It's the same rain, she thought, but in a different place. She watched other kids leaving in groups. Hey! A familiar voice called out to her. Eunhae turned around to see the curly-haired boy again. I'm Joey, he said, and you? Don't you have any name? Eunhae thought for a moment. Well, I can show you, she said, and took out the small red pouch. She pressed the wooden block on the ink pad and then stamped it on a piece of paper. This is my name stamp, she said. My grandma gave it to me. In Korea, I can use it as a signature when I open a bank account or write a letter. And whenever I miss my grandma, I use it to fill a piece of paper. Want to try it? She offered the stamp to Joey, and he carefully inked the stamp and pressed it hard on the paper. The red characters gleamed against the whiteness. Wow, that's beautiful, Joey said. Can I keep the paper? Sure, Eunhae said, and then the two of them shared her umbrella as they walked to the school bus. Every day, the jar got fuller with more names, and Eunhae read them all. She found a few names she liked. Miranda, Stella, Avery. They sounded interesting. I hope you choose the name I put in, Marco told her at snack time. I put in 3 more, said Ralph. Madison Park and Lex. They're my favorite street names. Maybe you should close your eyes and draw a name. Rosie suggested. Ralph frowned. That's silly. What if she doesn't like the name she draws? Well, we didn't get to choose our names when we were born, did we? Rosie argued. Everyone thought about this. When Eunhye got home from school that day, her little brother ran to give her a letter. It was from her grandma. She opened it quickly. It said, "To my Eunhye, I hope you are enjoying your new school and new friends. Be sure to help your mother and your little brother. Here the moon is up, but there the sun is up. No matter how far apart we are and no matter how different America is from Korea, you'll always be my Eunhye, your grandma forever." Eunhye took out her wooden stamp and filled a paper with it. She thought for a long time in front of the bathroom mirror. On Saturday, Eunhye walked to Mr. Kim's store. Mr. Kim was helping a customer, but he looked up and greeted her. "Hi, Eunhye." "Hello, Mr. Kim," Eunhye replied. She felt as if she was back in her old neighborhood in Korea. "Hey," said the customer, turning around. It was Joey. "Your name is Eunhye?" he asked her with his eyes open wide. Eunhye looked quickly at Mr. Kim, then turned to Joey. She nodded slowly. "Yes, it's pronounced Eunhye." "And it means grace," Mr. Kim added. "Eunhye," Joey said slowly, and this time perfectly. It made Eunhye smile. "I'll have it ready for you tomorrow," said Mr. Kim to Joey. "Thank you, Mr. Kim. See you Monday, Eunhye," Joey said to her. He left before she could ask him why he was at the store. On Monday, Eunhye came to class early to look at the names one last time, but the jar wasn't on her desk. Instead, there was a single piece of paper with a name on it. Eunhye slipped it into her pocket. "Where's your name jar?" Ralph asked as soon as he saw it was gone. "I don't know," Eunhye said. It wasn't on Mr. Kokoktos' desk or on any other desk, and it wasn't on the counters or any of the shelves. As other kids arrived, they helped look. Soon, Mr. Kokoktos came in, and Ralph shouted at him, "The name jar is gone! The jar with all the names in it!" "Gone?" Mr. Kokoktos replied. With a look of concern, he asked Eunhye, "Did you get a chance to read all the names?" Eunhye nodded. She took a breath. "I'm ready to introduce myself," she said. Eunhye wrote her name in both English and Korean on the chalkboard. "I liked the beautiful names and funny names you thought of for me," she told the class. "But I realized that I liked my name best, so I chose it again. Korean names mean something. Eunhye means grace." "Grace! Grace! Eunhye!" shouted Ralph. Everyone tried to say it. Eunhye, Eunhye. Eunhye said her name slowly and clearly. Soon the kids began to say it better, even Mr. Kokoktos. They applauded Eunhye's choice. "I was named after a flower," Rosie whispered to Eunhye. "Lots of American names have meanings too," Mr. Kokoktos reminded everyone. When the class was dismissed, Eunhye heard her new friends say goodbye. "Bye, Eunhye. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, Eunhye." Eunhye said goodbye and looked around for Joey, but he was already gone. "Eunhye, Eunhye, come downstairs, give us, man, you're so cool." Mother called up to Eunhye. "Your friend is here." Eunhye rushed down to see who she meant. There stood Joey, and in his arms was the name jar. "Where did you find it?" asked Eunhye breathlessly. Joey looked embarrassed. Well, I took it, but only because I wanted you to keep your own name, and you did." He reached in and pulled out the names. "Do you want to keep them?" he asked. "Thank you. I'll keep them as a souvenir," Eunhye said happily. Then she pulled out a piece of paper from her pocket. "Do you want this back?" Joey grinned. "You can keep it. I'll return the name jar to the class. Maybe you could put some Korean nicknames in it for us, names with good meanings." "I could do that," agreed Eunhye. "I've already got a Korean nickname," Joey said. "Mr. Kim helped me choose it." Carefully, he pulled out a small silver felt pouch from his pocket. Then he took out a dark wooden stamp with beautiful Korean characters carved sharply into it. He pressed it on the ink pad and then on the piece of paper next to her name. "Chinku," read Eunhye. "That means friend." And Chinku smiled back. That story always makes my eyes a little bit teary because Joey was such a good friend. We read a story last week about the invisible boy where somebody felt like nobody could even see him. And names are a big part of who we are. So when Joey took the time to learn her name and even to go to Mr. Kim's market and make a Korean name for himself, he really helped her to feel seen and heard, which is a huge deal for humans. So today, I want you to go to Google Classroom and answer the reading comprehension questions. Make sure you read the instructions because it's going to give you a hint about how to write that in a complete sentence, which is a big part of your grade. For math day, you're going to be doing some place value. Make sure you watch the video if you need help with that, and we will talk about your morning work during Zoom groups today. Go read, go get your Google Classroom done, and make sure to move your body today. Love you, 4th grade. Have a great Tuesday.